Hi, this is Kristy with Guidepost to Wellness. Welcome back to all you return viewers, and welcome to anybody that's new to the channel. On this channel, we talk about anything and everything that has to do with wellness, and today what I wanted to talk about is some myths and misinformation out there about fasting, specifically intermittent fasting. So some of you may have watched some of my other videos about Eat, Stop, Eat. This is a program that I've been using, a type of intermittent fasting that I really appreciate the ease of. There's so many other health benefits besides just weight loss, and that's why I've been talking a lot about it. So let's just be clear first and talk about what exactly is intermittent fasting in its simplest forms. So intermittent fasting is an eating pattern. It is not a diet or a meal plan or a diet plan or anything like that. And frankly, the word diet used to just be what you ate. That was your diet, but now it's turned into this four-letter word because fitness and wellness and all that has just been taken over by marketing, and everything's become a hype. So intermittent fasting, again, is an eating pattern. It doesn't tell you what to eat. It is more designed about when you eat. So with intermittent fasting, there are some very common durations for intermittent fasting. And I like the Zero app. I use it on my phone, and it's really nice because you can start the different types of fasts up here. It has several that are listed, and these are the very common types of durations for fasting. So one of them is the circadian rhythm fasting that they list here, which is basically just trying not to eat for about 13 hours, and this is specifically while you're sleeping. Most of us do fast between dinner and breakfast for anywhere a period of 10 to 12 hours easily, and this one just has it listed as 13 hours, which really isn't a long period of time at all. Very popular, probably one of the most popular, is the 16 and 8, where you don't eat for 16 hours between your dinner meal and your first meal, breaking the fast, and then you eat for a period of 8 hours. One that's a little bit more stringent is flipping that and not eating for 18 hours and being able to eat for 6. The 20 and 4, or this is more like the one meal a day, and I use this setting on the Zero app because for the Eat, Stop, Eat, the goal is 24, but you're still seeing the benefits even if you only make it to 20 hours. And sometimes the 20 hours may be more convenience, or maybe psychologically you are hungry, and I talked about that in some of the other types of videos. Another type that is a little bit more long-term, and to me would be more too extreme for me personally, is 36 hours, which is essentially every other day type of fasting. Some folks have had some really remarkable results with that, but that one takes a lot of dedication, and for me, I like to eat, so I enjoy the foods that are in season, and I enjoy preparing the meals and things like that, and I'm not in a position where I need to drop significant amounts of weight like that. So I think that one would take some discussion with your doctor and having the good motivational group to support you with that, but it can be very, very successful. So I'm going to break this down into 2 videos because otherwise it's just too long and gets a little tedious. So there are a lot of misinformation, bad information, myths out there. And one of the things I want everyone to understand is that the fitness industry, the wellness industry, food supplements, food marketing, all of those industries are designed to get you to buy things. And with fasting, you're actually not eating anything, so there's not a lot to sell for fasting. And Brad Pilon, the author of Eat, Stop, Eat, talks about that because he worked in that industry. And I find it ironic because I almost went down a pathway when I was younger of going to school to study biochemistry, and I could easily have seen how that would have taken me into the food industry, doing testing, design, coming up with new supplements, all kinds of different things like he did. And again, it's an industry that is designed to get people to consume things. And fasting, you're not consuming things. So that's why there can be misinformation out there, or there can be information out there that's geared towards getting you to eat more and telling you things like you need to eat every so many hours to affect your blood sugar and things like that. So during this video, I want to talk about a couple of the myths. One of them is about fasting in the brain, and there have been studies that show for children it is really important for them to eat regularly and that they perform better on testing with breakfast. Well, that makes sense. Kids are still growing and they need all of the nutrients and they need a balanced diet in order to optimally grow. Their brains are growing. They're in a state where they're just learning things like a sponge. So I can truly understand that they could have an impact on their cognitive performance if they don't have a solid first meal of the day and break the fast. And if you do really long-term fasting, or you are under some type of duress and not able to eat and to the point of starving versus fasting, then yes, you're going to see cognitive decline. You're going to see psychological impacts of that, of feeling deprived and unable to eat. And that can happen even with a low-calorie type of diet where you're always thinking about when can I eat again. You're always feeling hungry and tired, so you can have the psychological effects from that. But there are no studies that show any negative impacts with intermittent fasting. If anything, actually, people show that they feel better and they feel more clear during the fasting phases because of the health benefits. And I'll put some of those links down below for the videos I've done on the health benefits of fasting outside of just weight loss. So intermittent fasting will not affect your cognitive performance, not intermittent fasting. Other types of really long-term could, and low-calorie restriction might as well, at least impact you psychologically by making you cranky and always thinking about when can you eat again and feeling deprived, which isn't a good thing. That's another reason why I like this program. I'm not deprived. I can eat whatever I want. I just don't eat for periods of time, a couple times a week, which allows my body to heal and rejuvenate, which is a great thing. The next thing about hunger. We are not generally, as a society, Western cultures specifically, we're not in any type of state to really feel true hunger, most of us, that are not in a food uncertainty type of situation. And there are folks that are definitely like that. But if you are looking at fasting for overall wellness or for dropping weight to be a healthier weight, then you're not in a position to know true hunger. Intermittent fasting doesn't cause that true hunger. Most of what we feel is going to be a combination. Yes, there is some metabolic. Our body gets used to being fed frequent. But then you've got the social cues when other people are eating around you. You've got environmental cues. There are times I stopped my fast once early at work because they just had this amazing smelling chicken that they brought in, and it just smelled so good that I wanted to have it, so I made the choice to stop my fast. But those are more like cues and habits that we get into. You can get into a habit of grabbing a snack when you come in the door from work, or you can get into a habit of going by the vending machine and having a snack. Those are habits. So that type of feeling of hunger is more of a psychological feeling of hunger. We've been conditioned to eat 3 meals and snacks, especially a lot of diet plans indicate that you got to eat all day long to rev up your metabolism, so we get used to that. We also have some learned appetites from infancy, and I think this is kind of funny. Infancy or just when you grow up. I don't like a lot of spicy or strong smelling things for breakfast. That wasn't anything that I ate early in the day to break my fast. So leftover spaghetti, nah, that's not something I want to have for breakfast. I'm not real not real good with like leftover pizza for breakfast or anything like that. No, I'm a little bit more the traditional breakfast food type. Are more appealing to me. So you can get into habits from all the way from infancy and being a child to as an adult. If you work third shift, you may find that your breakfast is more like a dinner because of the time of day that you're getting up and the foods that are available. So you get used to different things. And the thing that I found is that not eating, you can feel hungry during the first few fasts, but I've gotten to the point where I hardly notice it really at all. And part of that is because I choose to fast on days that I'm going to be busy at work, doing reporting and things that are going to keep me really focused, so I'm not in a situation for any of those social or other types of cues, like sitting around the house watching a movie. That would be hard to do and fast for me because of those habits. And the other thing that's important about fasting is it does not cause rebound eating, not physically. Now, if you are still going through the changing over to getting used to intermittent fasting, you might feel the need to eat more. You might eat faster. And when we eat faster, then we often eat more, that mindless type of eating. So some 36-hour fasting may cause folks to eat a few more calories to break the fast, but the overall calorie reduction is still quite significant during that time period. Let's talk about blood sugar. So that's one of the things. If you have not been diagnosed truly with hypoglycemia or have some type of medically treated diabetes, then our bodies are so powerful that they keep our blood sugar levels within a very, very narrow margin. We are just in this amazing chemistry set, and our body keeps us balanced. It's called homeostasis. They keep us very, very balanced. So we may get symptoms of what we think is hypoglycemia, but a lot of that is actually psychosomatic, where we're more concerned about when are we going to eat. We haven't eaten psychologically, so we're feeling that crankiness and things like that, but our blood sugar oftentimes is still within a very normal range. Only about 5 to 10% of the population have true blood sugar regulation disorders, okay, that are not drug-treated diabetes. The healthy body controls blood sugar very carefully between 70 and 140. Now, if it gets below 65, you might see some mental decline because the brain is a huge glucose user, blood sugar user. But studies show that healthy people that are otherwise healthy without any type of blood sugar control, regulation disorders, do not reach any hypoglycemic blood levels. True hypoglycemic levels with a 24-hour fast. Most of that, really that irritability and shakiness really comes more from absence of food and the psychological duress, the stress of not eating, the fear of becoming hypoglycemic because it's been turned into kind of a thing to be concerned about, and slowing down our metabolism and all those types of things. So not so much. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is about fasting and cortisol. So cortisol, I've talked about it in my stress videos. Cortisol can go up. It is referred to as a stress hormone anytime we have a reaction to some type of stressor, physical or psychological. So even though fasting can be a form of physical stress, and it might even be a slight form of psychological stress until you get used to the fasting routine, the cortisol levels are not changed when we're fasting. Our body regulates blood sugar levels very carefully, and studies have found that we do not see changes in our cortisol levels. Our saliva cortisol levels do not change for as long as 72 hours of fasting for a healthy average person. Now, if you fast for 5 days or longer, then we do start to see an increase. And the thing about it is our cortisol levels oftentimes are elevated if we are overweight. So fasting and dropping weight can actually improve that. And it also improves inflammation and other things. Now, the flip side of that is if you are underweight or if you're doing a lot of strenuous exercise, that can cause an increase in your cortisol levels. And if you were fasting at the same time, then you could see an impact to your cortisol levels. But all in all, the cortisol levels in and of themselves are not going to be impacted just by the fasting itself. So as you can see, there's a lot of information out there. That's again why I really like Brad Pylon's book, Eat, Stop, Eat. He's like me. He has a curious mind, a scientific mind. He wants to see the studies. He's going to weigh out all these different conflicting studies until he gets to the root of what's really true and what's going on in our bodies. And that's why he can help educate us against these myths and against these misinformations about intermittent fasting. So I'm going to put some links down below to the health benefits of it and some of the other videos I've done on Eat, Stop, Eat and intermittent fasting, and I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be hitting on some other myths and misinformations in the next video. Thanks. Be well.